Please continue, ma'am. We are live.
Okay. A very good morning to all present here. On the concluding day of this faculty development program, I would like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us on the 7th day of faculty development program on e-learning and techno pedagogy, which is organized by GTB National College Dhaka, Ludhiana in collaboration with Indian Teacher Education Community Group. I am sure that you all will feel enriched with the knowledge after the completion of faculty development program. Today we have amongst us a very renowned personality, Dr. D.R. Goel, Professor Emeritus, Center Institute of Education Technology, NCERT, New Delhi, who will orient us how a teacher will connect his content software with target audience. We are
IT
indeed
is the full
privileged
form
to
क्या
have
है?
you in our panel today.
What
A
is the
very
full
warm welcome, sir.
form of
Our
ITEC?
good person to address our participants. Over to you, sir.
Sir,
क्या
it's
बेटा प्रवीण?
Indian Teacher
What is the
Education
full form
Community.
of ITEC?
Sir, it is Indian Teacher Education Community.
Hello. Still we have time. It is 10:59. Maybe it's 10:59 plus 11 now. Okay. Yeah. May I begin now?
Yes, sir. Please start.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, may I begin? May I begin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good
Please
morning,
start.
all of us. Good morning, all of us. The focus of today's webinar is techno, techno pedagogy. Uh, we will uh, uh, we will have some. Okay. Yes, beta, I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Okay. Yeah. Well, colleagues, good morning, all of us. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, all of us, and happy Sunday. Very, reviving and rejuvenating Sunday. Today, the focus of this webinar is on techno pedagogy. Let us try to find meaning with these terms, techno and pedagogy. Pedagogy is a discipline which deals in the principles of teaching. Uh, and these dealing in the principles of teaching, cutting across the devices of teaching, maxims of teaching, strategies, models of. So when we say techno pedagogy, here pedagogy employing the strength of technology, pedagogy integrating with technology, or amalgamation of the principles of pedagogy and technology for facilitating teaching. And only the teaching is qualified as teaching which emanates into learning. So today the focus of our presentation or session is, हाँ प्रमोद, मैं तो शुरू कर दिया पर आप सुन नहीं पा रहे हो क्या? मैं शुरू कर दिया. Sorry for the interruption in between. Today the focus is on techno pedagogy. Let us focus on the various principles and skills of techno pedagogy. We focus with the very first principle that medium is masses. It was said long back by Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan has been a communicologist, that is, a scientist of communication, who said that medium is masses. What does it mean? It means that there ought to be medium and masses compatibility. Medium should be messagenic and message should be mediagenic, meaning thereby that every message does not go with every medium and vice versa. So we should make sure that which medium and which message should go together, which message on radio, which message on television, which message on computer, which message distributed judiciously. That is, there ought to be medium and masses compatibility. Sometimes we say that Aptavakyam, it was said by Harry Subarayan from south of India. He said that every text ought to have its testimony. The text ought to have its testimony. The message ought to have its testimony. That is, the message should be credible. Media should observe fidelity. That ought to be the combination of medium and masses. This is one, that medium and masses suitability, medium and masses pairing, medium and masses going togetherness. This is one. Another reflection on medium is message is that medium should be neutral. Medium should not interact with the masses. Medium should not manipulate the masses. Medium should not manipulate the masses, nor neither the medium should interact with the masses, nor should it dictate the masses. It should let the message pass as it is. It should be just a mediator. So any medium for that matter has to be neutral. It should let the message pass as it is, with, and there ought not to be any message lost through when it is being mediated. Say when our honorable singer Lata Mangeshkar is singing, the quality of the signals should be observed. The frequency of the signal should be observed. The signals ought to be composed. The essence. हाँ प्रमोद. Okay. Okay. Well, medium, as I was sharing with you, that medium and message should have very intimate relationship, and every medium should be loyal to the message. It should let the message pass as it is. It shouldn't interact with the message. It should be neutral to the message. It should have compatibility with the message and vice versa. Then another principle of temporal contiguity of various message forms. Whenever we are having a view composition, it may be constituted of image, it may have video, it may have text, it may have audio. The message is in various forms. And we know of certain that more and more is the closeness, more and more is the contiguity. What is better assimilation takes place, better and better is the intelligibility of the message. Suppose we have an image, the text related to that image should be on the same slide. Also, the sound relating to that image should should occur, should not be like this, that on one slide image that the slide is out of the perceptible range, then we have the audio is out of the perceptible range, then we have the text. No, all these should occur together, and it facilitates reception of the message. It facilitates cognition of the view forms, and the entire view composition and intelligibility of the message. Then another principle is media efficiency. Every medium has its own language. Radio has its, smartphones have their own languages. So various media have their own language. As a communicator, as a sender, I should, and as well as receiver, we should know that what is the language of the medium I am mediating through. If I am talking on radio, and the structure of my sentence, my expression, it has to be structured in such a way that it is received by the receiver. The speed of delivery, the structure, the size of the sentences ought to be compatible to the radio. Similarly, in case of television, it varies from medium to medium. So we as e-communicators, or any communicator for that matter, employing any medium, ought to be proficient with the language of the medium. So we ought to have media language proficiency. Then message credibility and media fidelity. Actually, what happens is, whenever we have any communication, here I recall basic model of communication by Laswell, who said there are 5 elements of communication. Who says what? Message. Through which medium? That is the channel. To whom? The receiver. And with what effect? Communication. Communication is medium and receiver. So that correspondence ought to be observed. For that, here the focus of this principle is on 2 elements. that is message credibility and media fidelity. Message ought to be, the validity of the message ought to be observed. The truth of the message, the factuality of the message, the testimony of the message uh, ought to be established before it is communicated. And in this digital age, the communication travels with electromagnetic waves. But once we say send, it goes. And communication is irreversible. We cannot take it back. And it becomes very difficult to correct it. It becomes very difficult to edit it once it goes to through the e medium. So the message credibility ought to be established. Also, we talk of the media. These days, very commonly we listen to Wi-Fi and Hi-Fi. That is wireless fidelity and high fidelity. The messages go wireless, and with very tremendously high speed. Within 1/7 of a second, a message can take the entire round of the earth, because the speed of electromagnetic waves is 7 times the circumference of the earth. Okay, so the message credibility ought to be established. At the same time, the media should mediate the message very truthfully, very faithfully, with all fidelity. Sometimes we say, oh, this message is from BBC. It has all truth. It cannot be false. It cannot be false. Because before communicating any message, before sending any message, the BBC establishes that yes, it can be telecasted, it can be communicated. So on one side, message credibility ought to be there. On the other side, media fidelity ought to be there. There lies the essence of communication. There lies the strength of communication. There lies the beauty of communication. There lies the meaningful of communication. And there lies the meaningful of communication. Then balanced view composition. Whenever, suppose I'm presenting something and on my table, then n entities are there. So we have to see what is the relationship amongst those entities. What is the background color? What is the foreground color? And where we should have close shot, where should we have long shot? The entire view composition has to be very healthy, very balanced. And uh, and and the culture of that particular view composition, the feel of that particular view composition, the relationship amongst the various entities of that view composition, whatsoever is in the view, has to be observed, and it ought to be balanced with respect to n variables, all the variables. And at times it is highly multivariate setting. Then the element of message irreversibility. We say that there are various principles of communication. We cannot not communicate. We cannot not communicate. हम communicate करे बिना रह ही नहीं सकते. And at the same time, communication is irreversible. We cannot take it back. एक बार मुखरित हो गया, मीडिया के थ्रू हो गया तो हो गया. It's very difficult to take it back. And as I already shared with you, that e-messages travel with the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 raised to the power 10 centimeters per second, which is 7 times the circumference of the earth. And here when we are thinking of communicating a message, sending a message, we need to हैं उन पर हमारा नियंत्रण होना चाहिए, पूरा नियंत्रण होना चाहिए. We should touch, we should send, say, press for send only, touch for send only when we are sure that yes, this is what I want to communicate. We need to exercise psychomotor control. The testimony of the message needs to be fully established before we touch send. A soft touch sends a message far and wide distant. To rectify an erratic message post communication is a figment of imagination. Another principle of techno pedagogy is projection time determination. Projection time, whatsoever is projected on the screen varies from culture to culture, from level to level, from even nation to nation. So we, first of all, we should ensure that screen time of message, when it varies from culture to culture and it varies from viewers, then determination before we beam the message, before we project the message, it should be ensured that who are our target receiver. So there are various determinants. Then correspondence amongst sender, message, medium, and receiver. Any communication is a function of the correspondence, as I said earlier also, among sender, message, medium, and receiver. There is a need to do thorough analysis of the sender, who is the communicator, the message analysis, medium, the medium analysis, and the receiver, the target receiver's analysis. All these should be perfectly matching. That is, there should be full match between the sender, message, medium, and receiver. There is a need to do thorough content analysis, media analysis, as well as viewers analysis, so that all of these are in tune. And communication is a function of the correspondence amongst all these elements, that is the sender, message, medium, and receiver. These should be at the same wavelength. Now the wavelength of, now we come onto the production side. Suppose we are going to the studio for script is ready and we are preparing the script, then it is ready for presentation and shooting. Then what all we need to observe? What is the principle guiding it? What are the principles guiding it? The wavelengths of scripter, presenter, producer, and same wavelength. All the stakeholders of designing and production should be at the same wavelength. There has to be perfect interrelation, interdependence, and understanding among all elements of electronic media. It has to be a perfect systemic approach. Even if there is a failure at one point, it is going to affect the entire system very negatively, very adversely. So we have to see to it that every node functions well, every functionary functions well. So there has to be an understanding, there has to be a correspondence, there has to be similar wavelength of the scripters, presenters, producer, and cameraman. The entire view composition, camera density, and presenter profile, zoom out and zoom in, background and foreground, the content and modulation, the receiver and speed of delivery have to be in tune. All these functionaries have to be in tune. All these functions have been in tune, and we ought to utilize the competencies and the strengths of all these scripter, presenter, producer, cameraman synergetically. That is, we should utilize their energy scientifically, very systematically. Then quality, demand and supply of the digital products. The quality of the digital products ought to be established very carefully, right from germination through incubation, creation, construction, and connection. So whenever we are looking into the quality of quality of any production, so we have to go right from the germination, जहाँ से अंकुर निकलता है, germination. Then it should have congenial conditions, incubation. Then we should go on to the level of creation. Only creation at the lab level will not suffice. At times we have to go to a large level, massive level, commercial level, that is construction level. And what use is that construction which is not connected? So there has to be germination, incubation, creation, construction, and connection. And there ought to be these ought to be observed very scientifically. And any digital product demands fully scientific basis, which need to be observed very, very analytically. Now, irrespective of the area we are dealing in, whether it is whether it is production of honey by the honeybee, or it is lightning and thunder, or it is optics, or any area for that matter, the our production ought to be as natural as possible. If not natural, at least it ought to be near natural, pseudo natural, and voices should be directly recorded from the field, be it rainfall, rivers, birds, thunder, or vox polo, that is on voices of the people, and onomatopoeia, that is action sounding words. We should try to reproduce the reality as it is to the extent possible. When it is a thunder, we should record thunder. When it is lightning, we should record lightning. When it is a chemical reaction in a tube, we should capture it there and then. So it should be uh, as natural as possible. When a honey bee is sucking essence from a flower, we should have the shot there and then, and we should have all patience that we are in a position to reproduce the reality as it is, that it looks natural, it looks natural, and as if it is natural. Real is real and artificial is artificial. Let us try to be natural. If not, then tend to be natural. Let us recreate the real, the original, the natural. Everyone, everyone likes uh, um, uh, um, the natural flora, fauna, beauty. Okay, and we say that the beauties of the nature cannot be measured, but only treasured. And I think now in this age of ICT, in this age of digital technology, in this age of HoloLens, when we are having 3D apps, we are trying our level best to reproduce the reality, the nature, to the best possible extent. Compatible format. Now, the basic question is for any teacher, any presenter, any researcher for that matter, that which format we are dealing in. What should be the format for communication? When it should be talk, when it should be documentary, it should be drama, feature, narration, experimentation. It has to be decided very carefully. And the format of the program should be reality compatible. Reality compatible. We have to be very careful where to have documentary, where to have just talk, where to have narration, where to have drama, feature, any form for that matter. And now you may be asking, there may be a question lurking with us, that what are the determinants for deciding the format? If we like to reproduce as it is, just a narration उसको हिंदी में कहानी बोलते हैं. The entire event we go on presenting, we go on saying, but never tell the theme of it. इसीलिए उसको कहानी बोलते हैं. कहानी. We don't tell the theme. We don't tell the moral. We narrate the story. So when we are having a narrative, when we are having a narration, we should narrate, but never tell the moral, never tell what has come out of the study. It should be left to the receivers or the audience. That's how it is called kahani. So here, every format has its own great हाँ प्रमोद कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं, होने वाला है बस, है ना? आई एम जस्ट कनेक्टिंग. हेलो प्रमोद. अच्छा, ये स्क्रीन पे आ रहा है ना? अब मैं शुरू. शैल आई resume? Okay, okay. Well, sorry colleagues, for there was some internet issue. Sorry for that. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. Let us resume with the aspect ratio of the presenter, graphics, video, and animation. The presenter may verbalize 25 to 30% of the text. Rest of the share should be that of graphics, video, and animation. The presenter may exercise kind gestures so that even the silent graphs and graphics speak. Meaning thereby, suppose we have a video presentation, and in that video presentation, if we go on talking, that is not compatible, that is not suitable. So we ought to observe the aspect ratio, that is how much to talk, how much should be the text, and how much should be the rest of the share of the images and other views in the entire presentation composition. So we have to observe the aspect ratio, and the presenter may verbalize 25 to 30% of the text. and rest ought to be shared with the students. So is the view composition. Constructivist and connecting the form educational radio, educational television, computer assisted learning material, CAM, Twitched instruction, WBI, e-program should be innovative, creative, constructive and connective, having novel, decent and cultured so. Then F2F type techno pedagogy. These are the days when the Microsoft has come up with the HoloLens, and which has the provision for a variety of application 3D apps. And F2F type, that is face-to-face type techno pedagogy, facilitates the front view of the teacher and the video presentation both F2F with the class through the PNG conversion, say a virtual graph or a diagram in front of the teacher, or the front view of an experimenter experimenting. That is, it could be amalgamation of both. That is the real and the virtual. Then culture compatible techno pedagogy. Though the techno pedagogy is fast evolving, but at the same time, it has to be cultural. Whenever we are presenting through techno pedagogy, there ought not to be even any phrase which is against any culture. Otherwise, howsoever sophisticated is are the augmented reality, virtual reality, and the latest the viewers will not bear with us. If not physically, at least logically, mentally, they will throw us out. So we have to see to it that culture compatible. The techno pedagogy ought to be culture compatible, culture suitable. It should be fully compatible. Then coherent composition. People learn better when extraneous material valued it rather than in pedagogy and content to be interwoven. Be no such entity in the entire short which is stranger and remains stranger. It has to be well integrated into the view composition, and the entire then prompting technopedagogy. People learn better when cues that highlight the organization of the technology, pedagogy, and essential material are added. So the technopedagogy to prompting to the responses from the viewers, the receiver very ingeniously, very naturally, and they are at ease with, and the prompting is done in such a humanistic way, in such a skillful way that those work very well. Then redundancy principle. People learn better from graphs and narration than from graphs, narration, and printed text. Here, the printed text ought to be avoided. It is a fact that composite are the media and modes, better and joyful is the reach. So, when more and more composite media, the learning is joyful at the same time better. What is the meaning of composite media and modes? Say medium of presentation may be television, and when we were making the presentations, there were various programs: talkback program, interactive program, interim interaction programs, direct presentation. Okay, one-way communication, then two-way communication, two-way audio, one-way video, also two-way audio, two-way video. Now, when we are having this media and mode combination, it ought to be decided very judiciously. How much of my presentation is having scope for the interim interaction? Suppose I am presenting and now I am presenting. In between, can you talk to me? Can you flag your queries? No, no. On this platform, there is no provision. We can have queries to be attended to at the end in the form of some questions raised. So there are some platforms which provide you that facility of interim interaction. Now, in a mass communication, how much is the scope for interim interaction? It has to be decided very carefully, managing the time. So, how much should be direct? How much should be interim? How much should be talk back? Has to be decided very judiciously. But the media redundancy ought to be avoided. uh, Media redundancy means when the medium is in when it ought not to be, that ought to be avoided. So medium has to be used very economically, very judiciously, not for the heck of it. Then another principle is segmenting presentation. People learn better when a technology pedagogy lesson is presented in user pay segments rather than as a continuous unit. Okay, meaning thereby that suppose we go on sharing, non-stop. Then it becomes very, after all, we are human beings, we are the receivers, and how much we can receive in one go. We need to have, जैसे बुनते हैं ना कपड़ा, ताना बाना जैसे होता है. अब एक बाहर से आपने मटेरियल दे दिया, and it has to be stored in the form of arrays in the mind. So how to do the mapping? So there should be adequate scope, and there should be that interweaving mechanism, that whatsoever we are presenting is really assimilated into the neurons and the networks therein. It should not be overloading with continuity. There ought to be segmentation. Then pre-training principle. People learn more deeply from a multimedia message when they receive pre-training in the names and characteristics of key components. Yes, in case we go on using some jargons, in case we go on using some strange terms which people do not understand, then it becomes very disturbing and uh, I think taxing. It ought to be avoided. Then modality principle. People learn better from graphics and narration than from graphics printed text. Narratives have been found to have better reach than prints. So, where we can have afford to have narratives, we can. Then narratives have a better reach than mere prints. So, in modality, which mode of presentation ought to be used has to be decided very carefully, very comfortably, very judiciously, very humanistically. Then multimedia principle. People learn better from words and pictures than from words alone. The messages need to be judiciously distributed against various senses. Okay. The pictures speak a lot. Pictures speak a lot. And we may go on pouring words, we may go on having tossing words, but even ocean of that those throws may not be in a position to reconstruct the reality. So I think uh, we should have very powerful images. We should have very powerful visuals. And these days, there is a lot of advancement in the form of virtual reality and augmented reality. Then personalization principle. People learn better from a techno-pedagogic presentation when the words are in conversational style rather than in formal style. Even in a class setting, we ought to be impersonally personal. Voice principle. People learn better when the words in multimedia messages are spoken by a friendly human voice rather than a machine voice. Humanistic reach is better than mechanistic throw. Object principle. People do learn more deeply from multimedia presentation when the speaker is on the screen. Objects have their own reach. Uh, Suppose someone is presenting, one is the fellow is in front, then the reach is better than when the person is absent. Only the voice is there, only the sound is there. Then natural view composition. The view configuration and composition ought to be natural. The natural view composition has its own grace, own reach. Well, this was regarding this was regarding these principles which I like to share with the colleagues here. Now I like to show you a presentation, some presentations uh, uh, for illustration of the some of these. Say I was sharing with you a principle, medium is masses. So suppose we like to show a animal cell. Here is a production 3D app on animal cell. It is in the form of AR, that is augmented reality. So we have produced it utilizing various softwares like Unity, Blend. The language used was C Sharp, and then we used Euphoria. So it's not very difficult. Any teacher, any researcher can learn these for the production of 3D apps. This is just uh, one set. Like that, there are various softwares and platforms for production of 3D apps. Now, now I shall give you the glimpses of a research abstract which we produced for collating the researches done in teacher education in India. Like this is one of the volumes. Like that, there are 8 compendiums. I'll give you glimpses of one of those. Here are the abstracts of research studies conducted by teacher education institutions in India. And this compendium was produced by me, Professor Chaya Goel, and Dr. R.L. Madhavi at CASE, that is Center of Advanced Study in Education, the MS University of Baroda, Vadodara. This is volume 1. like this compendium, there are n compendiums, I think 8 compendiums. In this compendium, we have a total of 146 and 54 studies. And these have been differentiated into 19 sections, right from attitude of teachers and students through uh, technical and vocational education and some more. Now we can go on any section. Say we like to go on to the section number 8, ET and ICT in education, this section. And then we go to section 8, we press here. Okay, it gives us the various studies conducted. Say we like to go on to any study. Say number 1, exploring effectiveness of CALM, computer assisted learning material on rhymes in different modes. Say we click here. Here we get the abstract of this study, that is exploring effectiveness of computer assisted learning material on rhymes in different modes. It is by Anshuman Das, 1998, MSU, Baroda. Here the objectives enunciated for the study have been presented, then the hypothesis formulated, sample for the study, tools and techniques employed, and data analysis techniques used, and finally the findings of the study. It reveals that composite modes of presentation may not ensure higher cognitive language learning, and intelligibility of a message is a function of intelligibility of a message is a function of sender, message, medium, mode, receiver, and the environment. So like this, we can go on to the abstract of any study. And initially, these 3 volumes were available on the Intel site, www.educationinindia.net, and progressively on the case website, iCore case, www.icorecase.org. So anyone can have access to these compendiums. Similarly, I like to show you, we started a SAP Spectrum, a quarterly newsletter. It was a newsletter for Special Assistant UGC Special Assistant Program at CASE. I give you glimpses of one of the volumes. This newsletter was designed by we staff and scholars at CASE, and it served the purpose because it was presenting the activities done during a particular phase under special assistance program, and what we propose to do in the coming months was also presented. So look at the home page of it. This is SAP Spectrum, that is Special Assistance Program Spectrum. So here on this home page, toward the right hand side, we have case building, Center of Advanced Study in Education. On the left hand page, we have the course, follow-up, special seminars, poem, project for project fellows, visiting fellows, and other things. Journals including e-journals, learning resources, projects in progress, and so on. It the Maharaja Sajirao University of Baroda. So these are the two volumes published during that phase. And the next phase we have the coverage of a seminar. Here we have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, then the NCT Chairperson, then Dean of the Faculty, Head of Case, and the convener of the program. And here we have whatsoever emerged out of this seminar, the bullet points. Okay, this was regarding this SAP spectrum. Then also we tried to bring out some volumes on various areas like collective wisdom of India, then Swami Vivekanand, pioneers of India, and so on. I'll give you glimpses of some of these, say one of these at least. Collective wisdom of India or Swami Vivekanand. Here is a volume, Universe of Swami Vivekanand and Complete Holistic Social Development. It was brought out by Center of Advanced Study in Education, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, Vadodara, Gujarat, India, during January, and released by, and it is on Universe of Swami Vivekanand and Complete Holistic Social Development. As I said, it is dedicated to the spiritual and cultural heritage of India, where the ideas springs, feelings flow, motto Swami Vivekanand. And then we the preface and the coverage is there, and it runs into as many as 227 pages, and cutting across the philosophy of Swami Vivekanand. And also we have Swami Vivekanand theory of social change, Swami Vivekanand on Hindu philosophic thought, and yoga by Swami Vivekanand, Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Gyan Yoga. And there are various quotes of Swami Vivekanand, anecdotes of Swami Vivekanand, and emerging thesis of Swami Vivekanand, fully educational, and fully functional at the operational level. So this is one volume. If you like, you can have access to it. So like this, there are n volumes which we have done. Similarly, we try to techno pedagogically analyze a film Safar Ghar Se School Tak. I'll not show you the film, but I'll give you the glimpses of that module which we have developed on the techno pedagogic analysis of a film which was produced by one of our scholars at case, Sucheta Jasrai, Safar Ghar Se School Tak, to facilitate first transition of children from home to preschool. So here is a module on the techno-pedagogic analysis of that film. And this is under the course Perspectives, Issues and Research in Teacher Education. This is one of the modules out of the 35 modules which this 4-credit course contains for the MA education students and MEd students. Hello dear friends, welcome to EPC Pathshala. My name is Devraj Goyal, at present serving CIET NCERT New Delhi, India as Professor Educational Technology. Today we will reflect on techno pedagogic analysis under the course Perspectives, Issues and Research in Teacher Education. The objectives of the module are techno pedagogic skills. You will be in a position to analyze a program in terms of techno pedagogic skills employed. Describe the digital scripting process. Design a video program employing techno pedagogic skills. Appreciate any digital educational instruction program in terms of techno pedagogic skills employed. Dear learners, the 21st century demands that every teacher from early childhood care and education through higher education and continuing education is a techno-pedagogue. Techno-pedagogy is a discipline which focuses on interviewing the principles of technology and pedagogy. Here you may be having a few questions like what is technology and what is pedagogy. Technology is application of various sciences, physical as well as social, in a systemic way for realization of objectives, whereas pedagogy deals in the principles of teaching. Every digital production, which is meant for educational instruction, here, as I said, that technology can be application of any science for that matter. It may be physics, it may be chemistry, it may be anthropology, it may be sociology, it may be psychology, it may be technology. Their application, even a thing like cutting and demands technology. We have to look into the science of it, and we have to look into not only science, even the art of it, where the science is employed artistically and art is employed scientifically. Ought to be based on the principles of techno-pedagogy. One of the principles of techno-pedagogy, as I said, message compatibility. Long Marshall McLuhan said, medium message. It means medium should be messagenic and message should be mediagenic. It means there should be message media compatibility. Every message does not go with every medium. Some messages go with radio, some messages go with television, some messages go with computers, some messages go with print. So we have to decide how the messages could be distributed judiciously. Another principle is spatial and temporal contiguity of various message forms. Balanced view composition and mass credibility, media fidelity. These days we talk of Wi-Fi and Hi-Fi, that is wireless fidelity, high fidelity. Our messages should go through the media unaffected. Media should be neutral. The messages should pass through the media. For that, we need and Hi-Fis. We cannot not communicate. At the same time, communication is irreversible. When communication is irreversible, how to go about? Even before sending a message, we should mark that the text has its own testimony. And for realizing the testimony of the text, we should evaluate the message before it is sent. And more so in this digital age, that the moment the message is formed, we say send, and the moment we send, the message goes. And we cannot take it back. So the communication is irreversible. And we cannot, as we say that, yes, correcting an erratic message is a figment of imagination. We cannot correct the message. Once it is left means left. And digital communication is such that it goes with the speed of light. It goes with the electromagnetic waves. And the speed of electromagnetic waves is 3 into 10 raised to the power 10 centimeters per second, 7 times the circumference of the earth. It means a message can take round of the earth within 1/7 of a second. It can come back. So that is the speed. And when with this speed the message goes, it is like very difficult to take it back. Once it goes, it means it goes. And more so through e-mode and digital communication. So there should be optimum communication control. A C volume of MOOCs, that is massive open online courses and repositories, is no use unless it passes the principles of techno-pedagogy. Let us recall our first transition from home to school. Each one of us has a highly touching story to narrate because it is deeply feeling phenomenal. A child for the first time leaves home for school, where home and school. Facially, both have different cores and cultures. Bondage between the child and home, child and peers, child and nature, child and school differ significantly. Home attracts and the school pulls. There is very often, rather always, a tussle between home and the school. The present study has made an attempt to techno-pedagogically analyze a film Safar Ghar Se School Tak for parents and teachers for facilitating first transition of a child from home to preschool. The techno-pedagogic analysis of the film has been done in terms of various techno-pedagogic elements such as medium is message, temporal and spatial contiguity of various message forms, message credibility and media fidelity, message compatibility in totality, technological feasibility, technological fidelity, and pedagogic suitability, aspect ratio of picture and text, self-contained status and speed of delivery of the film, content and quality of the film in terms of various elements such as audio, video, frames, communication elements such as who says what, to whom, through which channel, and with what effect, through correspondence amongst sender, message, medium, and receiver. It is a digital age. The immediate focus of India is Digital India. It is to realize transparency by surfing through digital age skills such as skimming, scanning, skipping, switching, hyperlinking, and full immersion with scale and speed. Anywhere, anytime, any task, any field. It is not only for realizing transparency, but along with to realize recency, immediacy, and omnipresence through the speed of electromagnetic waves. Indian education has immediate focus on e-content development and communication. E-content development and transaction demands interweaving of content, pedagogy, and technology, applying various techno-pedagogic principles such as media message compatibility, temporal and spatial contiguity of various message forms such as picture, text and sound, message credibility, and media fidelity. It also demands productions. There has to be judicious sharing of shorts by camera that can be smooth to jagged and zooming out, zooming in. There has to be coordination among has to be the quality parameters parameters such as it ought to be original, mediagenic, concise and precise, interwoven and interesting composition. It has to be high fidelity, that is, having high fidelity and wireless fidelity for wider coverage. Digital world demands digital culture, but use our digital volumes if not innovative. The digital has to observe its own testimony. Every bit of it has to be rich and reaching for realizing this objective. The e-designing, development, production, and transaction have to be perfect. At times, there is quality and identity loss while duplicating, converting from one medium to the other medium, and losses during mediation and transmission. All these need to be controlled. It is true that no camera shots can capture the reality as it is, but the losses ought to be minimal. If not natural, then it should tend to be natural and self contained. But use are the oceans of MOOCs and OERs, that is open education resources, if these lack originality. The E form demands to be quintessentially innovative. The E volumes have to be pioneered. Every E production has to be original and innovative rather than mere conversion. Many problems are on the fore. We rarely meet our predicaments because, but use are those feelings which do not emanate into action. Every e-content is expected to be an embodiment of our knowledge, values, and skills. Who says high tech is mechanistic? It can have deepest reach and highest touch. We need to develop digital culture in India. Cashless transaction in India cannot be realized overnight. It is because a large majority of us are not techno-literates. System conversion from one form to another has to be done in a highly civilized way. Direct conversion in one go at the massive level is rarely feasible. Suitably, we can go for parallel conversion, phased conversion, or modular conversion. The very aspiration of techno conversion overnight can create chaos. Modernization may not be civilization. Any conversion by anyone has to be done with all decency, decorum, and discipline. Does it? E-conversion demands equally perceptible. Everyone is after e-learning, whether illiterate or illiterate. Competence. Drive at. We have to travel patiently. Enough of imitation. Auto-production and compatibility. Steps of digital scripting. Program ideas. All the digital scripts originate with the germination of an idea. My grandpa accompanied me to operation school, which was my way home, walking, and left me in standard 1 class, which was in the open under a peel tree in Haryana. The class teacher, Master Kashiram, only in the armchair. After some time, when the attention of the teacher diverted from me, I ran away with the speed of storm towards home. Grandpa on the way ran after me, caught hold, and again took me to the school. Again I ran away. This time I could skip the attention of Grandpa. When he reached home, he found me already there. Next day he purchased some orange slices on the way to the school, left me there and orange slices with the teacher, suggesting him to give those to me periodically and treat me affectionately so as to retain me in the school. Well, it worked and worked very well. Progressively, while guiding doctoral research in education, it clicked me that why not to produce a film for facilitating first transition of the children from home to school. This germination of the idea and incubation resulted into programming, production, and connection. Program brief. Then, based on the germination and incubation of the ideas, it was decided to script a film Safar Ghar Se School Tak for facilitating first transition from home to the previous of the day roadmap how to proceed. Now we go on to program research. It is at this stage writer must learn an area of research both on the topic as studios, looking out for the related inputs on the topic. At this stage, it is for the viewers, their background, interests, likes and dislikes. It helps the scriptwriter to collect, select, and organize relevant program materials most suitable for the viewers. Selection of contents. At this stage, the most relevant materials, visuals, sources and resources, and information which match the program objectives are decided or selected. Message planning. Here, many considerations come into focus, such as identifying key concepts or ideas to be highlighted, selecting a suitable format for program presentation, exploring media possibilities such as use of examples and analogies, graphics, photographs, reality bites, stock shots, animation, experiments, and other sources and resources, both audio and visual. Choosing a definite storyline for message presentation, using human characters in the Story: men, women, children, presenters, anchor, cartoons, puppets, animals, and birds. Dear learners, now let us discuss program structure and visual treatment. Here, the scriptwriter will give thought to such questions as follows: how will the program begin? How will the program end? What will be the shape and order of the sequences that will form the middle part? How many sequences will the program finally contain and in which order? What will be the length, sequence, emphasis, and amount of educational content of each of the sequence? To what extent the content of each of the sequences match the program objectives? If not fully, then how can content and objectives be matched optimally? Storyboard making. The storyboard means a detailed, shot by shot description of the program on sheets of paper divided into two vertical columns. The rectangular boxes, 3 is to 4, in the left hand columns are used for drawing pictures, sketches with the short sizes described on each, and the right hand column is used for writing supporting words, sound effects, and music. Then, draft script. The storyboard, when complete, leads to the preparation of a draft script. The draft script is the first full length script that includes a complete listing and description of all visuals, captions, commentary, dialogues, actions, movements, music, sound effects, and any kind of pre recorded inserts or audio video inputs. The draft script must be discussed with all the team members, experts, as well as producer to get their reactions and suggestions on various aspects. The scriptwriter must be open to criticism and ideas. Now we go on to the final script. Now the final script is prepared and passed on to the producer after considering and incorporating the suggestions. This is how the scripting of the film Safar Ghar Se School Tak was done. Then the film was converted to the digital form. Rationale of the study. Wish our schools could tend to be like our home. This is a pious expectation, but only a figment of imagination. The over disciplined, mechanized classrooms, incompatible curricula, dull modes of transaction, less emphasis on teaching learning, and more on examination have made our educational institutions dull and dreary, where beauties of childhood are destroyed, energies of the adults are wasted, and the prime of the youth is killed. Could our education be cultured right from the induction of a child to the exit of a youth? For that, we need to revive and sustain our education our education permanent paper analyze Safar Ghar School tech pedagogically to facilitate first of child from home to school so that education is objectives of the study. To study the perceptions of Educational Multimedia Research Center EMRC students on the techno pedagogic skills interwoven in a film Safar Ghar Se School Tak research methodology population all the students of the EMRC in India. The film Safar Ghar Se School Tak was produced by Mrs. Shweta Jasrai, a doctoral scholar of CASE, that is Center of Advanced Study in Education, Faculty of Education and Psychology, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara, Gujarat, India. It is an award-winning film, adult category of the CEC, that is Consortium of Education Communication, New Delhi. Sample: one student of BSc Electronic Media, 6 students of MSc Electronic Media, and 18 students of MBA Media Management, Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya Indore constituted the sample, total 25 for the study. The sample was drawn conveniently and purposively. Tools and techniques. A perception scale of 25 items on 5 point: excellent, very good, good, poor, very poor, for seeking suggestions on improving the film was constructed by the investigator. So, focus conducted with the sample students. Data collection. The film was screened on 26/11/2016 in the conference hall of the EMRC DAVV Indore. The samples viewed the film. After that, the perception scale was administered, followed by the focus group discussion. Data analysis. The data with respect to the 25 close-ended items were analyzed in terms of frequencies and percentage responses, whereas the responses to the open-ended item were content analyzed. Table presents the data analysis. The table is on perception of EMRC students on the techno pedagogic skills interwoven in the film Suffer versus School Talk to facilitate first transition of children from home to preschool. It is evident from the table that the frequencies greater than 75% of the responses have been registered on the points excellent, very good, and good against all the 25 statements, representing the techno pedagogic skill level of the film. The quality of the film could be enhanced by further focusing on the entire view composition of the film. The masses media technology integration was found to be compatible. There was spatial and temporal contiguity of the various message forms such as audio, video, and text. Testimony of the text and fidelity of the media were well observed. The content, pedagogy, and technology were found to be well interwoven. There was ample content validity, pedagogic suitability, and technology integration. Aspect ratio of the pictures and text was observed reasonably. The quality of the message was observed. The audio and video stimuli were found to be powerful. The view composition of the film was found to be balanced in terms of background, configuration, foreground, and the entire view. The film was found to be self contained. The speed of delivery was found to be suitable. The level of attention was found to be at the level of the full immersion. The film could facilitate the first transition of children from home to preschool. The film was found to have medium level of deployability because it was delimited to an urban school setting. As a whole, the film was found to be at the midpoint of the 5-point scale, that is good. Suggestions for improving the quality of the film Suffer versus School. The suggestions made by the respondents are presented as follows on the basis of content analysis of the open-ended item. The film chose a very rare topic. More such concepts should be chosen to depict unspoken and feelings. The audio quality could be enhanced, could be of better quality. The shots taken could have been more creative. Children have so many expressions. They are excellent actors. Their expressions could be valuably utilized. The present day schools have changed. Children have changed. New technology can be used for the film production. Safar Gharse School Tak is a good documentary on the teaching system of India on how a child starts school life from home to school. Though there are some commonalities, but the adoption varies from child to child. We could add thinking of the present day parents with respect to their words. Many more dimensions such as education system, child behavior, financial position of parents could also be included which affects the child behavior. Scenario of only one private school has been produced. The public school scenario could also be produced. The film production could have been done with advanced technology. The content is good, but the video quality could be improved. If the film is reproduced with visuals of today's scenario and society, then it will have better appeal. Sound was faster than the visuals. The film speed was fast. There could be blank audio space for assimilation of the flowing messages. Poetry related to childhood could find place in the film. Problems and confusion of parents could be still discussed along with solutions. Presentation of a few success stories could enhance the effect. Show the new play schools which are filled with new themes and projects. Video quality could be improved. Even the educated parents are not aware of making their children ready before sending them to school. The parents should create school-like atmosphere at home for preparing children for school. The interviewer should not put the same stereotyped question to all the parents. There could be a variety of expressions. She could interact with the children also. Characters could be more attractive. Visual quality could be better, as well as the background music related to the conditions of transition of the children. Add subtitle in English or English version could also be produced with Hindi captions. Sound quality and voice quality could be improved. Technical disturbance in sound could be controlled. Messages could have been more appealing. Framing could have been better. Visual and audio mismatch could be controlled. Interaction amongst the parents and teachers could be organized after school and recorded. Lip syncing could be better. Better scenes and background music could be added. Teachers' point of view should be there, a scene where parents making their children understand about going to school. Visuals could be better quality. There should have been added focus on dialogues. Some games taught by the teachers could be short. More of animation could have been added. Camera angles and view composition must improve. More sound effects could be added. The jacks in zoom in and zoom out could be controlled. The placing of the tips could have been at the end or just before the conclusion so that it could be more effective. We could add a bit more interviews with the experts. The interviews with the teachers could also help. The content was good, but at times there were distractions which could be controlled through background music. We can change the frame and technology for the visual medium for the film. New technology could be utilized for audio of the film. We could take new places for shooting. We could talk to children as well as more number of experts. At the ends, there could be a caption that come and know the views of children.
Any questions from the webinarians? Questions may be invited. Praveen, do we have some questions?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Our first question is, who is the founder of techno pedagogy?
Who is the father of techno pedagogy?
Hanji, sir. Hanji.
Oh, well, I don't know exactly, but um, many exactly I cannot say who is the father of techno pedagogy. But when we right from the very beginning, when we look into communicology and uh, the science of communication, long back, Marshall McLuhan, and in between there was a volume on communicology by Joseph A. DeVito, and it was such a interesting volume on communicology by Joseph A. DeVito that I like to go through it and go through it and go through it. I found it very interesting. It was a volume in the Case Library, Baroda. Well, as such, I don't know exactly who is the father of techno pedagogy, but in India, some colleagues have Dr. Punia, he has come up with a volume on TPAC, Techno Pedagogy Content Knowledge. He has come up with a volume. Someone asked me whether you know that any resource. I tried to search and then I could find that Professor Punia, Dr. Punia has come up with a volume on TPAC, that is Technology, Pedagogy, Content Knowledge, but I don't know who is the father of Techno Pedagogy. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, our next question is, what is the process of techno pedagogy?
What is
From
the
audience
process
side,
of
side,
techno
sir.
pedagogy? Yeah. Well, the entire process of techno pedagogy has just been presented through this techno pedagogy analysis of the film Safar Ghar Se School Tak. How do we go for scripting? do we go for story writing? How do we go for procuring the material as for the script produced? And then the entire process, actually, let me give you an example. Recently, uh, we have developed a course, Perspective, Issues and Research in Teacher. It contains 30 modules, 35 modules, like the one I presented on tech pedagogy analysis of the film. There's also on info-savvy skills, peace education in India, and taxonomy of educational skills. Now, how did we go about it? Here, each module has been presented in 4 segments. That is video, audio, check your progress, and bibliography and bibliography. When we come to the textual material, the textual material with respect to a particular techno pedagogic program was assigned to the expert. The expert produced the script, the produced the text, and then we checked up with the expert who produced this text whether the fellow would be at ease presenting it. For that, we have to look into whether the fellow is mediagenic and all those factors. Yes, at times we could find that some of the areas the same script and same presenter. In some cases, the scripter was not available while presenting, so presenter was different. But before this goes for recording, there is a script committee which is having an experts from different areas, language expert, technology expert, techno pedagogy expert, all of them sit together and they go through the script. They go through the script, they give some suggestions, and the script is revised accordingly. And when the script is ready, then there is an initial testing of the presenter, that who will be presenting, whether the voice is mediagenic or not, whether the person is at ease with, and so these factors. After it is examined, then we schedule who will be the cameraman, who will be the producer, who will be the floor manager, and the entire team of this recording team, the presenter, and the scheduling. And after it is scheduled, then एक स्टेप इससे पहले भी छूट गया. जब इसके रिकॉर्डिंग करते हैं तो उससे पहले जो हमारी स्क्रिप्ट है उसके कोरस्पॉन्डिंग ऑडियो विजुअल्स और ग्राफिक्स बनाते हैं. उनके again we seek the help of the experts for compatible graphics and images, and this assignment is given to the graphics unit. The graphics unit prepares it, and after it is these graphs are prepared, then and the recording from that end is done, then the video editing of the program which has been presented by the presenter is done. And after video editing has been done, again the expert plays it back, and if some feedback is to be provided, is provided to the editor. And after the video editor edits it, then it goes for, before final presentation or in the air, we have a preview committee. That preview committee does the screening of it, and it is played back, and some of suggestions. Those suggestions are again incorporated into this program. Like this, the video editing and editing, as well at the same time, the other two quadrants, the check your progress and bibliographies are checked, that these are all in tune, in line. This is how we go about.
Sir, how much old this term in the world and India?
Old this term in world and India. Okay. Well, if we go into the history, we started here in India with the class project, computer literacy and studies in schools, and then we moved on to the ICT at the rate of school system, and then progressively we have OERs and NROERs, National Repository of Educational Resources. If I recall that our first television color telecast was done as far back as 15th of August 1982. Okay, when we go into this realm, let me share with you my own experience that as far back as 90s, we were the government of India decided that we have computer education in our schools. Some selected departments from India, some colleagues, two colleagues from each department were sent for training and to the computer centers. So me and one of my colleagues, Professor Sansanwal, we were sent to Rolwala Computer Center, Ahmedabad. And that Rolwala Computer Center, there the professors oriented us. And after coming back, then we started computer education at B.Ed level and then at master's level progressively. And these worked well like that in India, in various states. But here at Indore, what we did was not only computer education at B.Ed and M.Ed level, we started two degree programs in computer education also, Bachelor of Computers in Education, BC.Ed and MC.Ed. Why I am sharing with you this is in fact designing and having system design considerations for coming into the realm of techno pedagogy in India, techno pedagogy, and by by institutionalizing these courses and programs, that is computer education at B.Ed level, computer education at master's level, and then separate programs BC.Ed and MC.Ed, what we try to equip ourselves with respect to techno pedagogy. Then progressively we started designing digital programs. Say at B.Ed level we have practice teaching lessons. We were going by Herbartian steps. Then, okay, then we switched over, not switched over, along with that, we started developing digital lessons also. We equipped ourselves in designing digital lessons. And this is how progressively we have gone into the realm of techno pedagogy. And progressively there were some publications on pedagogy in various journals also, say NCT journals also, and say Association of Indian University Journal also. But looking into that how what is what where exactly we have techno pedagogy. In fact, we are still struggling with the TPAC, techno pedagogy content knowledge. And now not only computer aided programs, those programs, but along with the augmented reality and video reality and virtual reality. And let me share with you that now I think it was during this previous decade. I think the genesis is during this previous decade, this current decade, that we have come into the editors like EPUB editors. Earlier, we were having text editors only for text. Now we have EPUB editors. I could show you, I'll just show you if time permits, that I have learned that EPUB editors, wherein we have editing facility for not only text only, but also for audio and video. So we can edit text, audio, video together. So the answer to your questions goes back to not so far back in the history, hardly 7 to 10 years, and still we are struggling in this area to have TPAC and techno pedagogy with the right earnest. Yeah.
Sir, please tell us some books on techno pedagogy.
Only one book on TPAC. We have come by a book by on techno TPAC by Professor Punia. Professor Punia.
Okay, sir.
I have come across only one. Only I have heard the name. I have not yet seen the book. This is someone told me he has written a book on TPAC.
Sir, next question. how we can do create difference in our presentation as virtual mode without teachers present, other teachers presentation.
Say better. Say again. Say again.
How,
I can read.
okay, sir.
How we can do create difference in our presentation at virtual mode with other teachers' presentation. Okay. Now I'll give you an example. That now we have cameras like 360-degree camera. Recently, one of my colleagues, Dr. Yashpal, he is assessor at IIT, Institute of Educational Technology. He is highly innovative, creative faculty. So he has recently brought another camera which is much more advanced, that is 5.7K. Earlier it was 4K. But what he did was historically um, he tried to produce the scenario of Qutub Minar here, and the shooting from 360 angles, 360 degree. And when that shooting is done, and if you see that, you have a feel as if you're moving there from one section to the other. You have a feel. Means virtually you have a feel that you are with the reality. You have a feel that you are with the reality. So here we can produce various programs employing not only virtual reality, augmented reality also, and uh, these can be well presented. But I think let me share with you and caution also. There is no camera equivalent to human eyes, and there is no parallel to the face-to-face teaching. So, in no case, I would like to compare the F to F with the virtual. Virtual is virtual and real is real. And then you will say that, oh, why there is need to come to the virtual then? At times it is not feasible to visit the real. So something is better than nothing. We can have and real. Yes, augmented, I would say that, yes, I have done MSc chemistry, organic chemistry, and I have done radio physics. So when I studied, in our laboratories, we were not going to that 3D inside. Whether we go to distillation or we go to sublimation or we go to how airplanes fly, and when we like to come on to the lift and thrust and the movement and the rudder pedals and the vertical fin and the entire system, there we need to go to the interior of it, interior of the reality. उसके भीतर क्या होता है? The entire process. If we like to, if we like to study, जैसे yesterday the problem which I faced, onion, how onion has been used as a medium in this experiment for lighting the LED. Then I studied that yes, onion has amino acid, though it has amino acid, but the amino acid is neutral, क्योंकि उसमें अमोनिया का ग्रुप हाइड्रोजन COH से ले लेता है और वो एसिडिक होते हुए भी न्यूट्रल होता है. तो ऑनियन कैन प्रोवाइड अस ए न्यूट्रल मीडियम, so we can capture it from there by the help of virtual reality, by the help of augmented reality, by the help of these powerful high power cameras, very high density cameras. We can, and these softwares like as I shared with you, the Unity and the C Sharp and Euphoria and Blend, we can produce 3D, so which give us more comprehensive understanding of the phenomena, comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon which is taking place, rather than which we get through 2D. So I think these have their own values. Visual. Now we are in the realm of AR, VR, QR, and even in the 3D printing, 3D app printing, all have their own values. Virtual reality, augmented reality, these quick responses, open pages, and 3D printing अभी आ रहा है, अभी आ गया है, और this highly virtual reality, this Microsoft has come up in the form of HoloLens, wherein we have that very efficient reach to the virtual and the augmented. बस इस पर तो इतना ही बोलना
Sir,
था, दूसरी बात तो थी.
is it necessary to photogenic face for virtual presentation?
Is it necessary to photogenic face for virtual presentation? बहुत बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. ये whether it is real or virtual, when particularly खूबसूरत तो होना ही चाहिए ना रियलिटी को बेटा. पर when whether we are going for any when we are trying to reproduce the reality in any form, it ought to be mediagenic. Okay, it ought to be photogenic, it ought to be mediagenic. पर कई बार दिक्कत क्या होती है, जो मीडियाजेनिक है उसको रियलिटी नहीं आती, और जिसको रियलिटी आती है वो मीडियाजेनिक नहीं होता. तो okay, could I communicate? There are gaps. One who is abreast with the real is not mediagenic, and one who is not that friendly and that close and that intimate with the real is not mediagenic. Then how to compromise? Uh, if we go by the laid down principles, we say that it ought to be mediagenic. So we would compromise. थोड़ा बहुत reality भी कम भी आएगी तो चलेगा, तो ought to be mediagenic. But I think it, the the photogenic attribute ought to be realized to the extent possible. We should not compromise, but at the same time we should not compromise with the reality. We have to strike a balance somewhere.
Okay,
We
sir.
have to strike a balance somewhere.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, our next question is, what should we do if our audience have other language proficiency, but teacher don't know other languages? Yeah, their languages, sorry.
Yeah. What should we do if our audience have other language proficiency, but teacher doesn't know their language? Very good. बेटा, आपने देखा होगा when I made a presentation on aspect ratio, there I said that 25 to 30% should be audio, rest should be distributed on the other images, other forms. There was a point, because here the images speak more than the words. At the same time, मैं जो शब्द हैं, जो अक्षर हैं, जो वाणी है, उसको अंडरमाइन नहीं करता. But when we like to cut across a large population, the masses, wherein there are socio-semantic differences, सामाजिक और भाषाई और बोली से संबंधित जहाँ पर विभेद हैं, अंतर हैं, विभेद नहीं, विभेद गलत बोल दिया, अंतर हैं, डिफरेंसेस हैं और वाइड सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंसेस हैं. वहाँ क्या करें? Yes, two, three solutions. मैं यही सवाल अपने से पूछता कि गोयल, can you address the globe at the same point of time? Globe, not only India. Or if you like to address the globe, what should be your profile? Yes, then I say I should use minimum possible words and transcribe those into different languages maximum possible. Rest should be presented through visuals. तो वो करना चाहिए. दूसरी बात क्या है, क्या मुश्किल है भाई? आई शुड हैव यूनिवर्सल लैंग्वेज. अरे मेरे को इंसानों की भाषा को छोड़ो, वो कन्नड़, मलयालम, डोगरी, पंजाबी, हिंदी, गुजराती छोड़ो, मराठी छोड़ो. मेरे को तो आई शुड लर्न द लैंग्वेजेस ऑफ द रिवर्स, द लैंग्वेजेस, द स्प्रिंग्स, द नाइटिंगेल, द क्रो, द स्पैरो. इनकी सबकी भाषा आनी चाहिए मेरे को. आई शुड नो द लैंग्वेज ऑफ द रिवर्स. आई शुड know the languages of every entity. That is an ideal, that I should be at ease with the language of every entity and organism. But you will say, bhai, you don't talk idealism, real धरती आओ, आओगे मेरे को पता नहीं, बोलोगे तो गुस्सा करो. आप गोयल try to be real ideal. yes, you have a very genuine expectation. My answer to this question is, let us minimize the visuals, okay, and let our aspect ratio be photogenic, be mediagenic, okay. Then only I think we can convey the message effectively. Many times, even to webinar, we have people from Punjab, we have people from southern India, and rest of the states. We have some sample webinarians. Now, if you ask me, I could have done justice to all of them. कहीं पर मेरे को पंजाबी बोलनी थी, हाँ, कहीं पर मेरे को मलयालम बोलनी थी, कहीं पर मेरे को तेलुगु बोलनी थी, कहीं पर मेरे को आसामीज बोलनी थी. If I could really do justice to them, for what we opted for, we try to opt for a language which we presume is common. So here, particularly on this platform, we to be mediagenic and to solve this problem of not being acquainted with many languages, and a teacher has command only a few languages. It is desirable that we teachers ought to command many languages, number one. Number two, if we do not have command, then we should be very powerful on the view composition, that whatsoever we like to purvey, could we purvey, communicate those through other than words. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, can we create MOOCs and organize without the government's recognition?
Okay. MOOC is massive open online course. Massive open online course. When see, when we online courses and these courses are credited, and when we say these courses are credited, there ought to be some recognition. There ought to be some recognition. Now, if we are going for the formal courses, yes, recognition is required. Recognition ought to be there. How many credit course it is, and what will be the criteria for evaluation and crediting, and who would do it. There have to be guidelines with respect to that. But if it is not credited, and if it is massive open online course, then its credibility ought to be established, if not formally, at least informally. Okay. Otherwise, we cannot go on beaming anything and everything. It has to have that ethos. It has to have that culture. It has to have that social approval. Otherwise, these cease to be. These cease to be. So, the coming to your question, whether these massive open online courses, which are formal courses, I add, these have to be recognized by the government. These have to be recognized.
Okay, sir. Can we organize our short-term course without the government recognition?
Yes, we can organize short-term course without government recognition or permission, in the sense that yes, if that short-term course is valuable and it doesn't have any implication for the state. एक तरफ तो आप कहेंगे मेरे को स्टेट से ग्रांट चाहिए, दूसरी तरफ कहेंगे कि वो रिकग्निशन है, वो नहीं चलेगा. है ना. If you are demanding grants, then it has to be recognized. If you say you are doing on your own, and that is highly valuable, you can go ahead with it. You can go ahead with it. Yes.
Is one-way communication useful for the student? Is one-way communication used for the?
yeah,
Sir, I'm audible.
Parveen, is
Is
one-way
one-way communication
communication
useful for?
useful for students? Okay. It depends upon, it very often depends upon the nature of the contents. Sometimes we have expository teaching and reception learning through one-way communication. मतलब जैसे हमने क्या किया, जैसे we prepare payas and we serve to the children eat it. Okay, ready-made, and the children eat it. They have no queries, no questions. But very often it is not the case. Very often the direct communication or one-way communication does not work. And more so, particularly in case of mass communication, e-communication and digital communication, some questions are left lurking. So one-way communication will not work. So we should leave some learning links for the viewers, the receivers. So even after presentation, if they have some queries, they can link with these databases or with these uh, depositories, and seek answers, or the person and can seek answers to their questions. So um, one-way communication is useful for students in those cases when the material is when the substance is self-contained, and it is expected that during mass media communication, it is desirable that let the material be self-contained, because in case of mass communication, we don't have that much scope for interaction. Uh, Whether it is interim interaction or talkback after presentation. So it is self-contained. But coming specifically to the query, yes, one-way communication can be useful for the students, provided depending upon the nature of content and whether it is self-contained or not.
Sir, in India, a common problem that is telecommunication signals. How we will understand this? Yeah,
How
overcome
to
this.
overcome this? ये तो आपने दुखती रग पे हाथ लगा दिया। हाँ, दुखती रग पे हाथ लगा दिया, मीनिंग देयर बाई कि इस प्रॉब्लम को सोल्व कैसे करें भाई। हाँ, वो एक जन है, उसने मोबाइल लेने के लिए अपनी गाय बेच दी। वहां पर तो ब्रॉडबैंड अवेलेबल नहीं है, आप सिग्नल भेज के क्या करोगे? हाँ, इफ द सिग्नल्स आर if you don't have the broadband, what will you do? I think we need to have the system design considerations, and we have to have more of sensitivity. We say, yes, we ought to have digital India. We ought to be digital. We ought to have e-communication. We should be well equipped. पर सिर्फ नारे नारे लगाने से काम नहीं चलेगा। हाँ? We have to have strategic action plan at the operational level, at the functional level, that how to meet these requirements of reception. उसके लिए I think we as a nation have to be relatively more sensitive and more concerned. And there should be due provision for reaching out to the unreached. I could read the question, Praveen. Is this true that after
No, no, no.
COVID-19, teaching will, यही सवाल है ना?
Yes, sir.
Teaching will
Yes.
shift
मेरा
to at least
नेटवर्क इशू आ
70%.
रहा सर.
Yeah. हाँ. Is this true that after COVID-19, teaching will shift to at least 70% online mode? Even if I would say no. Face to face is face to face, and this virtual is virtual. Virtual is virtual. अभी वो 30 गई
there was a Tej festival, and most of the communications were in that graphics form, and hardly anyone could have that real वो जो झूला झूलते हैं. Okay. Now you can say, okay, if 100% virtual is feasible, would you like to do it? हाँ करो, उसको graphics से आपका मन भरता तो करो. हाँ. But I think we have to think very judiciously, wherein we need to switch over to the virtual mode, digital mode, and wherein we need to have the face-to-face mode. Even if we are capable of becoming fully equipped with technology, we have to decide very, very carefully. Now, one example: seminar and webinar, संगोष्ठी और ये क्या बोलते जाल गोष्ठी वेबिनार, whether webinar or webinar. Now, yes, webinar has its value. Cost effective. It may be cost effective. It has far effective. How much effective? That is a subject of research. Okay. Now, after COVID, yes, now one thing has come up, that we have become, or we are becoming more info savvy, more techno savvy, uh, because of the need of the hour. Because of this lockdown due to COVID, when we cannot be face to face, at least we have a way out to reach in the digital form, e-form, reach in the webinar web form. Okay. Post COVID 19, now during COVID 19, it is almost 100%. Whether post COVID 19, it would be 70%. But I can say this process. But I think the switch over from face to face mode to distance mode.
Hello, hello, sir. Sir, I am audible.
Yes, Praveen, any other?
Sir, again, please what is a techno pedagogy? Sir, please confirm it is techno pedagogy or techno pedagogy.
The signals are not coming. Could you say again?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन है और सर अभी कट गए हैं, है ना?
सर आ गए हैं?
सर दोनों सर कनेक्ट हो गए हैं।
But
हाँ, अगर गोयल सर आते हैं तो ये क्वेश्चन हिंदी में कर सकते हैं।
techno pedagogy is
सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन था।
सर मैंने पूछा नहीं था। आपने बस
अच्छा, अब
Adin sir,
Hello.
Adin sir,
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Goyal. I think so
Sir
network
has
issue है ना?
disconnected. Yeah, he is facing some network issues and he is disconnected right now. So
Okay.
let's just wait for a few seconds and then we can continue.
Okay, sir. Okay. Hello, sir. Sir, our next question is, what should educational scientists do for the psychomotor development of students, which is
On the floor, what should educational science psychomotor students lacking on teaching? Well, it's a very, very, very genuine question. That is that is the that is the that is the basic flaw with this e-communication and digital communication. We have to find, particularly during this phase, we have to find some substitutes. That of course some motor muscle moment is there. जैसे ये नहीं कि आप एक ही पोस्चर में बैठे रहें, कभी उठ भी सकते हैं, कभी बैठ भी सकते हैं, और आपका हाथ तो हमेशा चलता ही रहता है। ये मोटर मसल्स आर ऑपरेशनल, चालक पेशियां तो चलती रहती हैं ना। परंतु आई थिंक we have to supplement it with some yoga, some exercises, which
okay,
ought to be done along, which ought to be done. And my request, my suggestion would be that let our learners and let our teachers sit in different postures. They should not sit in the same posture day long. Otherwise, it will be self-killing. We have to have uh, वो हमारा जो जो postures हैं, जो हमारे we have to change our postures, we have to realize some movement, we have to have some breaks in between, and we need to have proper time time, space, personal management. ETP SMS. Time, space, personal management. Here, the personal management, time management, space management has to be done very judiciously, very carefully, very humanistically. We cannot overload blindly, like the storms. These come and from morning till eve, the presentations and who will sit, where the fellow would sit, what would be the time duration, what would be the nature of courses, and how those would be interspersed. This has to be decided very judiciously, very carefully. वो सब बहुत ध्यान से करना पड़ेगा. We cannot overload our teachers and learners, and we have to utilize this technology in a very healthy way. उसके लिए बहुत सारे चेंजेस करने पड़ेंगे.
ओके सर इतना सारा कंप्यूटर यूज करने के बाद बच्चे कैसे बच सकते हैं कंप्यूटर विजन सिंड्रोम से?
Oh, too much of everything is bad. Too much of everything is bad. I think technology is our extension. Technology is our extension. Radio is extension of our voice. Television is extension of our audio and visuals. Computer is extension of our brain. Multimedia are our pseudo extension. And sometimes we talk of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can never be higher than the real intelligence. कभी किसी कंप्यूटर का इंटेलिजेंस इतना देखा है कि वो किसी के जो इंसान के अरे से बेहतर हो? No, it cannot be. So we have to be very careful that we should be the masters of technology, not the slaves to the technology. Okay? और इतना ज्यादा ज्ञान की जरूरत भी नहीं है. Let me make one very subtle statement today. जैसे विद्वान, बुद्धिमान, विवेकवान, अगर भगवान को अपनी जैसी बुद्धि दी होती ना सबको, तो सृष्टि खत्म ही हो जाती पहले दिन. The world would have, the universe would have ceased to be had the God given all that vidvata what the God has with. So the fellow has given us limited. So we need only that much of knowledge, that much of wisdom, that much of skill which is required to live the life easily and meaningfully. Let us not pour each and everything into the brains of our children. Okay, they are human beings, let them live. They have various facets of life and living. This knowledge base, let us have very limited knowledge base. We don't require each and everything to be stored into the brain and the psyche. Okay? So we should not get into this syndrome. थोड़ा खेलना कूदना भी चाहिए, हंसना भी चाहिए, मस्ती भी करनी चाहिए, धमाल भी करना चाहिए. वो सब
योगा करनी चाहिए सबसे जरूरी.
हाँ, योगा करना चाहिए. देखो आपने बहुत अच्छा बताया बेटा. योगा करो, एक्सरसाइज करो, खेलो कूदो, आपस में बातचीत करो. ये क्या है सारा दिन वो सेल. अरे interact with the parents, interact with the peers, rather than interacting with the virtual reality throughout. That is addiction. We have to do away with this addiction and all such. मेरे को तो इनका मीनिंग भी आता है syndromes, जो what you say syndrome. I think let us keep these syndromes away from us. Let us try to be as real as we can. अपने आप को, let us try to save ourselves. Let us try to recreate ourselves. When I say recreate means that goel is goel. Not ये नहीं कि गोयल बिखरा पड़ा रहे. I should be my own self. Let us learn to do that.
बिल्कुल सर. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your kind services.
For sharing your expertise views on techno pedagogy. I'm sure most of us had been inspired and definitely have an idea how to explore the status of techno pedagogy in teaching and learning. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, beta. Thanks. God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank Now we proceed to valedictory section. In valedictory session, we have with us Dr. Karamjit Singh, Registrar Punjab University Chandigarh, the man who doesn't need any introduction and known among all of us for his wisdom and knowledge. Welcome, sir. Now I request our honorable principal, Professor Avtar Singh, to formally welcome our chief guest. Over to you, sir.
Hello,
Hello, sir.
hello. Is my voice audible?
Audible, sir. Audible.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Parveen, for giving the stage to me. Respected
Thank you,
Chief
sir.
Guest of the day, Professor Karamjit Singh ji, Resource Person, Professor Emeritus Dr. D.R. Goyal ji, Founder of Indian Teacher Education Community, Dr. Pramod Goyal ji, Dr. Parveen Lata ji, and my dear participants from all over India. A very good afternoon to all of you. It gives me immense satisfaction that the 7-day faculty development program on online teaching and techno pedagogy is nearing its end and we enter the valedictory session. I am happy that today the Registrar of Punjab University and my dear friend Dr. Karamjit Singh has joined us to motivate the teachers assembled here. The pandemic COVID-19 has thrown immense challenges before the teaching community, and online teaching is one of them. Teachers have all of a sudden been made to reach out to students through online means, little realizing that this is an alien field for a vast majority of the teachers. It is with a view to meet this end that GTB National College Dhaka collaborated with ITEC to make available a 7-day course which has given a foundation to the teachers to build and edifice. It is indeed a great opportunity for me to welcome Dr. Karamjit Singh ji, who is not only an able administrator but a great researcher and a social activist. His achievements are indeed a source of motivation to all young teachers who have assembled here because he is a self made man, a man who comes from humble beginnings but has traveled his path through sheer hard work and sincerity, coupled with a sweet temperament to occupy the second highest position in Punjab University hierarchy. He is a highly decorated researcher, having received awards and recognitions from various bodies such as Indian Commerce Association, Indian Accounting Association, Punjab Commerce and Management Association, University Grants Commission, and various others. He has held various administrative positions besides being a member of the Senate for 8 years and a member of Syndicate for 3 years. He has also been a member of various bodies of UGC and NAC. He is a voracious author, having penned 51 articles in reputed journals. He supervised 10 PhD students and is still guiding 8 others. He has also visited Washington, London, Tokyo, Toronto as part of his academic sojourn. I'm sure all of you are now eager to listen to our chief guest, and I do not intend to come in between you and the honorable chief guest any further. I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Karamjit Singh and thank him for having accepted our invitation. Thank you, sir. Please hold the mic and address the assemblage of scholars who have fire in them to learn, learn, and learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Dr. Apar Singh ji, and a very dear friend of mine. In fact, we were together in this very college, and I must appreciate his effort to organize such a wonderful show, 7-day faculty development program. In fact, this type of program where practical knowledge is being shared, transmitted, is something is need of the hour. And I must congratulate Principal Dr. Tar Singh ji, and his team for organizing this type of show. And particularly yesterday, I was having a talk with Pramod Gupta ji. Pramod Gupta ji, who is a founder of Indian Teacher Education Community, ITC, and I'm very happy after talking with him that he has, mindset to give technological support for such type of endeavor, and he's looking forward to various universities and colleges. And I also assured him that we will do something. I mean, to have learn more and have more type of interaction. When I looked at the 7 day program, and I could find out that lot many things on the pedagogical aspects to enhance the capability of teachers, like MS Office. Of course, MS Office or probably teacher might be aware of, maybe including words, Excel and PowerPoint. But talking about infographics, you're talking about the animated presentation, talking about a Google Classroom, StreamYard, which I'm addressing here, Zoom, webinars. This is something new for us, for teachers. You know that I was listening to Professor Devraj Goyalji, and I really appreciate Dr. Praveen was asking some questions, and these are the questions which need to be addressed. The problems or issues like infrastructure, which is raised because I joined late, but I could see the questions about infrastructure, the information, the question about one-way communication, and some syndrome, something like that. And Professor Goyal has deftly handled that type of queries by the party. But I'm so happy that resource person from Pune, from Indore, from Sudaravali, Faridabad, they have joined this, collaboration. Now, friends, this COVID-19 pandemic has changed the world. We know with a blink of an eye. In education, all school, colleges, universities, educational institutions were closed overnight. There is a challenge. And everybody knows that there is a problem. The question is how to cope up with this challenge. Like this college, there was a issues with the problems like how to teach online, which are the best online teaching platform, which are the best online teaching tools, teaching techniques. So we need to unlearn something and then relearn new, sort of things. I, that education is something very, very important because what I believe when I was in USA, there was a talk that for unlocking human potential, education is most important thing in our life. To quote third US president Thomas Jefferson, he said that, please understand my word. It's a beautiful quote which is made that if we solve all the problems in the world except one, that is education, the next generation will create all the problem once again. We solve it and they will create it. But if we solve only one problem, that is education and nothing else, the next generation will solve all the world problem. So education is something very, very important, and we are to change this education the ways of time. You see that three issues are very important. I was just making out from the discussion of Professor Goyal also that there is a financial strain on higher education. There is a cost of higher education which is going up, and then of course every country wants gross enrollment ratio. Now, if you look back, that why I am saying that this COVID-19 is really an opportunity for teaching, fraternity, because if somebody maybe in the month of January is as a teacher that you go online, you teach online, probably there might be some revolt also. But now they have shown so much resilience, they have shown so much, flexibility, that everybody almost have switched over to online system. Now, I am just giving you narrating some one background that during World War II, that why how the women they come into as a workforce. If you look at the history, you will find that during World War One, all men by and large were in battleground, and by force, women were pushed to the factory job. Now, so after 1950, what happens? That it is the women who have put their feet firmly in the corporate world. So any change made, you know, abruptly, that in World War II, it is going to change the future of the next generation also. The same thing have happened after 1950. That women now, if you look at the corporate world, how quickly they are rising in their own area. Similarly, in this COVID situation, what I believe that we are pushed to adopt more technology. In the process, we will learn many other things also. So there is two words which is very, very important. One is disruption, which we use in the management science. Another is transformation. We need to transform the whole mindset, whole education system. Whatever you have learned from in 7 days, all things are very important. But these are just tools. Because the most important thing that you as a teacher, we as a teacher have to create a place for ourselves. Because otherwise, if everything can be done by the machines or computer, then we will stand nowhere. Let me say that I will just explain also that how and where we will be fitting in times to come. One more example I will take about the future planning. Because we have to plan. See, what is future? Future is not what we are doing in future. Future is what we are doing today. Now let me just state one point. In USA, 99.9% of the 12 billion cars, there is a survey also happened in USA. 99% cars they are operating on gasoline, petrol or diesel. But what is the future? Now things are very clear that in times to come, future is about the self-driving cars, ride sharing, electrical car. Now GM Motors, if they really want to survive in the car industry, then they have to think that what is the future, and we have to plan and adapt ourselves according to the circumstances. Now, I will not take much. I can understand that lot of much time has been already taken. Already it is two. I am emphasizing one very important point for my teacher friends. See, tools, whatever you have learned in 7 days, these are very important. These are indispensable. But besides that, you have to enhance your knowledge also. You have to, that the same, US President, that Thomas Jefferson, which I earlier quoted, he told that I can't live without books. You see that you have to create in future, particularly at the higher education level, there are going to be three categories. This is particularly I'm talking to the teachers, and I have said this in the other forum also, that there are three type of situation amongst us. Number one is that we are to transmit knowledge transfer. As far as knowledge transfer is concerned, we can go for 100%. Somebody from the students, from the audience, they put a question, can we go 70%, 80%? What I am saying that it is not a question of 70, 80%. Important thing is that what we are transmitting. Important thing is that what we are doing it. The first important point is, remember my words, that we talk about Google Guru. Everything is on Google. If you transmit that type of knowledge which is already available on the Google, nobody will attend your classes. You will stand nowhere. So this portion, particularly this is first portion, this has become outdated. Believe me that if you have prepared notes and you are carrying on what is available in the Google, then what could we do? There are two other things are which is very, very important. Second thing is that it's a co-creation of knowledge, particularly science field. Particularly, I mean that you have to co-create. We have to move up the value chain. I mean to say that there should be a cutting edge research work which is required, which involves students also. Then this can be performed by the, I mean to by the university people also, but college people also, they have to see. I will come to the college also that what should be done. But the point which I am referring to my teacher friends, this is very, very important. That what will be the role of teacher? We are talking that there is one capability we call it artificial intelligence resistant capability. I mean that machine resistance. Anything which I can do. गोयल साहब कह रहे थे एट द एंड, गोयल हूं, मैं कहता हूं मैं करमजीत हूं. ये हमारी आइडेंटिटी है. प्रोफेसर अवतार सिंह है, राइट. आई मीन टू से दैट प्रमोद जी हैं. उनमें क्या चीज है जो मशीन सब्स्टिट्यूट शायद नहीं कर सकती? वो है हमारी जजमेंट, वो है हमारी क्रिएटिविटी, वो है हमारी कनेक्टिंग कैपेबिलिटीज, वो है हमारी कम्युनिकेशन, वो है हमारी परसुएशन, वो है हमारी एबिलिटी टू गिव इमोशनल क्वेश्चन टू द स्टूडेंट्स. यू नो दैट वी, our responsibility as a teacher, our responsibility is to nurture our younger generation. We are to mold their mindset, we are to change their thinking process, we are to change. We generally talk that I generally talk to my students, there is a 4 Ds of life. In management circle we talk D, 4D. D stand for, first thing is desire, second thing is dedication, third thing is determination, and fourth thing is discipline. You know, these are the things. Teacher, you know that first step is that teacher should be competent enough. टीचर की पात्रता बड़ी होनी चाहिए. उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? टीचर को पढ़ना पड़ेगा, टीचर को खुद तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी, और टीचर को अपनी क्रिएटिव आइडिया के साथ, बच्चों के साथ, स्टूडेंट के साथ ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन देनी पड़ेगी जो ऑब्जेक्टिव हो, जो आई मीन जजमेंटल बेसिंग जो है, इंटरप्रिटेशन टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स है, जहां पर आर्ट्स एंड कॉमर्स आइडिया आएंगे. वो जो स्ट्रेटेजी हमने इवॉल्व करनी है वो कंप्यूटर नहीं सिखा पाएंगे. ये जो टूल्स हैं ये आपको पॉलिश करके चीज को बढ़िया बना सकते हैं, लेकिन बिलीव मी, हीरा तो हीरा ही है ना, हीरा तो हीरा ही है. जो चीज बेचनी है आप बहुत ब्यूटीफुल तरीके से उसको करोगे, बात बनेगी नहीं. क्या चीज बेच रहे हैं वो क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए. क्या चीज बेच रहे हैं हम, स्टूडेंट को क्या बेच रहे हैं, हम उनमें कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ानी चाहते हैं जो प्रोबेबली इंटरेक्शन के तरीके से ही आ पाएंगे. तो मैं बिलीव करता हूं कि 4 Ds की बात मैंने करी है, मैं थोड़ा सा उसको एक्सप्लेन करूंगा, देन आई विल वाइंड अप. फर्स्ट थिंग इज, जो हमारी जो बेसिक स्ट्रेटजी है टीचर्स की भी और स्टूडेंट्स को भी, हमें डिजायर मीन्स हमें गोल सेटिंग करनी पड़ेगी. व्हाट आई मीन टू से गोल सेटिंग, इट मीन्स दैट टीचर मस्ट नो कि हु आर माई स्टूडेंट्स. अब देखो, बिलीव मी, मैंने आई हैव इंटरेक्शन at Dhaka College also. I have interaction at Chandigarh also. I have been called by IIT, IIMs also. I went to Japan also. There I have interacted with students. America also. Requirements of local levels are different. You can't have same yardstick at every place. So goal setting में, who are your students? You are to look their needs, what they want. How can we make them employable? Because that is more important. How can we upskill their level? What type of skills we can imbibe so that they can become entrepreneurship? They can be a job provider, not seeker. Because employment scene is really, it's very big problematic. And India, if we look at our culture, if we look at our traditional wisdom, we can create. At one time, our village was self-sustained, but now there is a problem. We have to start at rural level training programs which will give you skill. Tell me, I sometimes I'm wondering. I am interacting with the engineering students. I told them, okay, you are electrical engineer. 70%, what I may be wrong also. Students, they do not know the practical things. They have read books, so many books are also there. What we need a proper basic knowledge of electricity. So what I want to say that that goal setting is something very important. This is the first step which a teacher must do, a student must do in excelling his life. Now, once you know that these are the requirement of my students and these are my capabilities, we have to fill up the gap, and we are to imbibe those skills which is required so that we can cater to the demand of the students. Believe me, when I was having a research work with the students, I don't encourage my students to go in for very sophisticated type of tools, because I believe that basic simple thing one must understand is that one must understand what will be the impact of the research on the society, the topic which is to be chosen, the type of research which we are to take. We must be clear that what is the benefit to the masses at large, to society which I am catering to, what type of benefit they will be getting out of that. So we have to look that only. So first D is, that used to be very clear that what is your desire. Then 2 points, another very briefly I will touch because it will take a lot of time. We need dedication. See, teacher has shown during last 2 3 months number of webinars, number of problems they are faced, but they have come out with a solution also. But what I believe that with the dedication which we are having, the best part of a teacher is गुरबाणी जी लिखे है पवन गुरु पानी पिता माता तरतमार. The more important status given to the guru. हवा तो बगैर पर रह नहीं सकते, पानी तो बगैर फिर भी रहा जा सकता है. What I want to say that guru is something very very important. बलिहारी गुरु अपने देखो मानस तो देवते करे. This is what status of guru is there, and for that we need to imbibe that sort of dedication. And our scripture, what a guru says, आप गल कर निष्काम सेवा, to my mind, two professions which is very very important, and we are blessed that we are into a teaching profession. We can perform nishkam seva. A doctors can perform nishkam seva. Others also, but teacher and doctors, they are privileged lot, and their dedication, whether you are teacher or your students, this is something very very important. Third thing is determination. That willpower, the capacity to think like that way, that I can do, I can manage, I have a confidence. See, Dhaka College, Professor Avtar Singh, he has a confidence. He has a tied up with Pramodji. Pramodji, I was talking with him only yesterday. He has a vision. He's an Odisha-based person. He has a vision to transmit knowledge, to give technological support to whole of India, maybe global also. That type of determination, that type of willpower is required. And fourth point which I want to stress, maybe you are a student, maybe you are teachers or such scholar, that fourth D is, first D is desire, second is dedication, third is determination, and fourth is discipline. Let me say one thing to all my friends, that what our religious or guru, that scriptures taught us, the most important thing is that मैं ये सही बात कर रहा हूं कि कोई भी कम्युनिटी, कोई भी समाज, कोई भी देश, कोई भी कौम, वो तरक्की नहीं कर सकती अगर उस कौम में डिसिप्लिन नहीं है, अनुशासन नहीं है. देखो, हमें सुबह वी आर बीइंग टोल्ड कि सतगुरु का जो सिख खाए, आई मीन दैट डिसिप्लिन 5 बाणियों का पाठ करना है आपने, एक डिसिप्लिन लाने के लिए। व्हाट आई बिलीव दैट इफ यू रिसाइट गुरबानी इन द मॉर्निंग, ये नहीं आपको कोई भगवान के दर्शन हो जाने हैं, बट द इशू इज दैट सुबह उठना, अर्ली टू बेड अर्ली टू राइज, ये जो मोबाइल का साइड इफेक्ट है, ये सोशल मीडिया का जो साइड इफेक्ट है, आज की जनरेशन जो है वो रात को 12 बजे 1 बजे तक 2 बजे तक उनका मोबाइल ऑन रहता है। जरूरत है बच्चों को भी इस बात को इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करने की, हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं। रात को 2 बजे सोओगे, 4 बजे सोओगे, 3 बजे सोओगे, कितने बजे आप उठोगे, कब आप एक्सरसाइज करोगे, आपकी हेल्थ कहाँ जाएगी, क्योंकि लाइफ में प्रायोरिटी जो है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये कर लो, टूल सीख लो, MS वर्ड सीख लो, कर लो, सीख लो, आप एनिमेशन सीख लो। जब आपकी सेहत ही ठीक नहीं है, और सेहत के लिए ठीक खाना पड़ेगा आपको, और उसके लिए एक्सरसाइज करनी पड़ेगी। मैं कहता हूं कि स्पोर्ट्स के लिए, एक्सरसाइज के लिए, जब तक आप फिजिकली फिट नहीं है, ना आप ग्रो कर सकते हैं स्पिरिचुअली, ना आप ग्रो कर सकते हैं मटीरियली। तो उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, डिसिप्लिन करना पड़ेगा। सिंपल सी बात है। फोकस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। फोकस कैसे आएगा? फोकस तब आएगा जब आप जो काम कर रहे हैं वो काम करिए। अब में मुझे सुन रहे हैं तो मुझे सुनिए, अगर लेक्चर दे रहे तो मुझे आप लेक्चर दीजिए। तो टीचर के लिए डिसिप्लिन का होना, बिकॉज देखो एक समझ के चलिए, हमारे प्रोफेशन में 2 आंखें नहीं देख रही हैं आपको, मल्टीपल आंखें देख रही हैं। और आने वाले समय में आपको आपके 60 स्टूडेंट नहीं देखेंगे, उनके पेरेंट्स भी देखेंगे। आपकी देखो ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये हमारी इश्यूज हैं कि मेरा लेक्चर शेयर कैसे हो जाएगा। बट फैक्ट इज you cannot stop the things whose time has come. The different type of mindset is required, because I can speak anything within the boundaries of classroom, but once I come online, once I have interacted with not with the 60%, but thousands and thousands of people, we are addressing to the parents also. They look at you. What I want to sum up the things is that I will not take much time, because otherwise, being a teacher, I will go on and on. My submission to all my friends is that these workshops are very important. The most important thing is that what you are carrying at your places, carrying at your workplaces, how will you implement that what you have learned it, that is more important. What is the impact of this training program, that is important. And then think, all we are teachers, we can think that 21st century, I mean that time which is future is coming up, different type of skills are required. Different type of skills. You have to think that what will be the future, then solve the issues, anticipate the change, solve the issues, and increase your communication power, communication ability, collaborate with the people, because without collaboration, individually I can't do anything. You also can't do anything. Collaborate with the people and then lead. We are the teachers. We have to lead. We have to take the first, interaction. So with these words, I once again congratulate Pramod Gupta ji for his great initiative to this part of India. And I pray to God that his thinking, which he told me yesterday, that he want to do this type of seva at all India level. I feel that his vision or his thinking, he will get whatever he thinks. And lastly, at the end, Dr. Praveen I was looking at I must congratulate Dr. Avtar Singh ji. He is very dear friend of mine, rather my younger brother, who's making tremendous efforts. And his best quality is that he speaks less, but he performs. This is what is required of a teacher. With these words, and I also, when I was a teacher of this college, Dr. Harbans Singh ji, he was a principal of this college, and now also I interact with him through WhatsApp. My I mean that I through this this video, I also seek his blessing also, because he was a wonderful person, and I learned discipline from his life. So I wish अपने GTV Nation को Dhaka, all the participants, all the fellow friends interacting in this platform, the best wishes, and I hope that you have already learned a lot, and in times to come, you will continue having this type of workshops, learning, and upskilling yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I can expect my thanks to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time for us out of your busy schedule. Thank you, sir. Now move to the last part of the session, that is vote of thanks. The best and beautiful thing in the world can't be seen or even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is a one of prayer among them. So for vote of thanks, I invite our worthy principal, sir, Professor Avtar Singh.
Thank you, Dr. Parveen. Change is the law of nature, as they say, and all of us have assembled here to see the change, to make the change and bring about the change. The way we deliver our lectures may not change much, but the medium we reach out to our students definitely needs a change. It is this change which we are all persevering to make. Even otherwise, UGC and other academic bodies are insisting that a certain proportion of the pedagogy should be through online mode. All things have to come to an end, and so does an FDP. Today's FDP is no exception. Today, our 7-day FDP is heading towards its closure, and I'm sure most of the people who have assembled here have become aware of most of the techniques of online teaching. A foundation has been laid, and it is up to you to build further. We have, to a large extent, been able to deliver value and content to the program, and your comments in the chat box bear testimony to this fact. Now is the time for me to thank all who have made this program possible. First of all, I thank all our guests, Dr. Rajkumar ji, Dr. Indu Malhotra ji, and Dr. Karamjit Singh ji, who all are very busy persons in their own fields. Finding time is definitely difficult for them. They all very graciously accepted our invitation and steadfastly made their presence. My hearty thanks to our worthy resource persons who did one of the most difficult things, and that is teaching the teachers. It may be easy to teach students, but to teach the teachers and satisfy them, well. I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta and his team of personnel from ITEC who burned midnight oil to make things possible. Special thanks to Mr. Adeen for providing technical support, without which the whole show would not have been possible. My thanks to my colleague, Dr. Parveen, who has acquired a great deal of maturity, much beyond her age. My special thanks to the management of GTB National College, Dhaka, who gave the green signal for this lecture. Last but not the least, my thanks to all the participants from all the corners of India who stood by us through thick and thin. Thanks, thanks, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Principal, sir. I'm also thankful to all resource person, college managing committee, principal, sir, Indian Teacher Education Committee, group staff members, and dear participants who made this faculty development successful. Thank you all.
Hello. Hello. Am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adhin, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible. Please continue.
Hello. Myself, Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta. Many thanks to you, to your patience for join us. Especially thanks to VC sir, Punjab University, Education Secretary Hindu ma'am, Punjab State, and Registrar sir, Dr. Karamjit Singh, Mr. Avatar Singh, GTB College, and highly especially thanks to for anchoring Dr. Praveen Lata. And many thanks to my all resource persons, Mr. Kiran Kumar, Dr. Madhulika Verma, Mrs. Neha Pawar, Dr. Anshu Agrawal, Dr. Sonam Bansal, and Adin Shukla, and Dr. D.R. Goyal. We are making some other programs based on online education and other stream. We will flash at WhatsApp group and a Telegram group, Indian Teachers Educator Community Group. और आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपने बड़े पेशेंस के साथ इस प्रोग्राम को ज्वाइन किया। बहुत सारी कमियां भी थी, हम अभी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन में एक्सप्लोर ही कर रहे हैं। वी आर नॉट इन डेवलप्ड कंडीशंस। हमारे बहुत से ऑडियंस को भी प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं। कल एक व्यूअर ने मुझे फोन किया कि वो जम्मू कश्मीर से हमें सुन रही हैं, वहाँ 2G कनेक्शन ही है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के बहुत से ऑडियंस ने हमें फोन किया है, वो भी यही बता रहे हैं, वी आर फेसिंग ए लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स टुगेदर। हम सभी फेस कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बाद भी हमारे हौसले में कोई कमी नहीं है। आगे भी हम प्रोग्राम्स बनाएंगे, आगे भी आप तक पहुंचाएंगे। हमारा एक ही एम है, हमारा कोई भी टीचर, हमारा कोई भी स्टूडेंट, हमारा कोई भी इंडियन पीपल वो इलिटरेसी का शिकार ना हो। हम सभी अवेयर हों, अपडेटेड हों। तब तक के लिए आप सभी को गुड आफ्टरनून, सलाम, नमस्ते, सत श्री अकाल।